Hello, my name is Stuart MacLeod. I'm one of the trustees of Weymouth Town Charities. In Weymouth Town Charities we have two benefactors. The first was Sir Samuel Mico and the second was Sir Henry Edwards. I've spent a lot of the last 5 years on researching the history of both of our benefactors. Sir Samuel Mico I find is an intriguing character. He has a plaque on the side of the George Inn along the quayside in Weymouth, and his dates of birth and death say circa 1610 to 1666. And I was intrigued when I became a trustee as to why such a rich London trader should have such an affinity and a belonging with Melcombe Regis, as it was in those days. So I decided to find out more about Sir Samuel Mico by going to the Mercer's Company, of which he was not only a member, but he was also the master of the Mercer's Company. I was lucky to be able to go up to London just before the very first COVID-19 lockdown and spent a day consulting all of the records for the 1600s when Sir Samuel Mico was a member of that company. The Mercer's Company are a very proud company. They're the #1 company. And to become the master of the Mercer's Company was indeed an honour. And what we find is that in 1655, Samuel Mico became the master. He wasn't Sir Samuel then, but he had served his time. The previous year he had no votes from the other members, but in 1655 he did become the master, sweeping the board with all of the votes on that occasion. We have no portraits of Sir Samuel Mico, no drawings, nothing. We've tried everywhere, the National Portrait Gallery, all over, British Museum, nobody has any likeness of him. So all we're left with really is his coat of arms. But when I went to the Mercer's Company, I was fortunate to be able to find his signature. Now normally when they had meetings at the Mercer's Company, the members would not sign their names. But on one particular occasion they needed a new clerk, and all of the members had to sign their names to recognise that they were all in approval. And we're very lucky that we found Sir Samuel Mico's signature. So this is what it looks like. As you can see, it's a very flowing hand, the way it's been written. And if you look at the name underneath from another member, you can see that that's very stilted, very small, and it's written in the old style of writing. Now when this signature was made in the 1600s, the handwriting was changing, and Samuel portrays a very flowing type of writing instead of the old block writing that his fellow trustee member shows underneath. We know nothing about Sir Samuel Mico's education. What we do know is that he turns up in London in 1634 as a very rich man. We have no idea where he made his early fortune. We have no idea where he received his education. But the archivists at the Mercer's Company say, well, if you look at his signature, it shows a very learned man. He's had an education. He knows how to write properly. He's not making just a mark. So I wondered, because we don't have a portrait, whether we would try and recreate Sir Samuel Mico's signature. So what I've done is I've bought some traditional style quills. Yeah, I found a gentleman in Shropshire on the internet who makes quills. He largely makes these Stuart and Georgian type quills for film companies and TV companies when they're doing period costume dramas. So a traditional goose quill that Samuel would be very knowledgeable about. And as you can see, they strip all the feathers back, because although in some Hollywood movies you'll see all of the feathers up here, it's actually quite hard to hold the pen if you've got a handful of feathers. So what they've done is they strip all the feathers off and they make a nick at the bottom here for the nib. I must confess that I'm using modern ink. I'm using parchment to write on, and I've managed to find someone who sells modern parchment. I have no idea whether it is similar to the old type of parchment, and this is what it looks like. Many people would say, well, it looks like tracing paper or a baking sheet. Yep, and it feels like that. It has the same texture, but I'm assured that it is actually parchment. So we've got a quill pen, ink, and some parchment. So let's have a go at seeing how we can learn how to write in the same style as Sir Samuel Mico. So this is a simple light box, just a plastic box upturned with some lights underneath. And here we have his signature, Samuel Mico, and then all of this flourish here, where Thomas Allen didn't quite get to that. I think he started up here. Quite noisy with the nib, because the nib doesn't want to go when you're pushing it on the upstrokes. And then it stops there and it comes off. Samuel. You can see there's a great big blob here. This is where he's refilled for ink, which is what I need to do at the moment. And then the flourish. He finishes there, and then he goes back and does this other flourish. I think he may come off and gone back down here and finished there, but who knows. And the dot on the I is up here. So there we have it, writing in the style of a Stuart rich merchant, friend of King Charles II, and that's how you would have written your name in the 1600s. It's a scratchy sound when you write your name, a sound that's just disappeared forever. We don't have those sounds anymore, so there we go. We know how to write and signature, but also experience all of the sounds of the Stuart times. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.